70,000 people watching, millions more at home. One moment, one kick. That's all it took. He steps forward, heart racing, pressure everywhere. This isn't just a penalty, this is history. He runs, he strikes, and in a split second, everything changes. The ball is saved. Silence. Then noise. Not support, not understanding, hate. Pure, ruthless hate. And just like that, Bukayo Saka became the target of an entire world. But here's the part nobody talks about. What happens after that moment? Because missing a penalty is one thing, but carrying the weight of a nation's disappointment at just 19 years old, that's something else. Before that night, before the headlines, before the criticism, Bukayo Saka was just a young boy with a dream. No drama, no controversy, just football, pure love for the game. Growing up in England, his journey wasn't built on hype. It was built on simplicity, hard work, discipline, focus, the kind of mindset that doesn't demand attention, but earns respect. At Arsenal's academy, he stood out, not because he was the biggest, not because he was the fastest, but because he understood the game, the way he moved, the way he passed, the way he made decisions under pressure. It was calm, intelligent, mature beyond his age. But talent alone doesn't protect you from pressure, and football doesn't wait for you to be ready. When he broke into the first team, expectations were low. Just a young player, learning, developing. No one expected him to carry anything. No one expected him to become one of the most important players in the team. But that's exactly what happened. Game by game, he grew quietly, consistently, reliably. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud, but he was effective. The kind of player every team needs. The kind of player every manager trusts. And slowly, without people realizing, he became essential. And then came the international stage, England. A different level, a different kind of pressure. Because playing for your club is one thing. Playing for your country is everything. Every mistake is bigger. Every success is louder, and every moment is remembered. And for Bukayo Saka, one moment would define everything. Euro final, the biggest stage he had ever played on. The kind of game players dream about, but also the kind of game that can break you. Because when the match went to penalties, everything slowed down. Players stepped up, one by one. Pressure building, tension rising. And then it was his turn, 19 years old. The weight of a nation on his shoulders. No experience in moments like this. No time to think. Just one decision, one shot, one outcome. And when he missed, the story changed instantly. From hero to target. From pride to blame. And what came next was worse than anyone expected, because criticism is normal in football, but this wasn't just criticism. This was personal. Abuse. Hate. Attacks that went beyond football. And suddenly, a young player who had given everything was being torn apart. And here's the truth. Most players don't recover from moments like this. Confidence breaks, fear grows, pressure becomes overwhelming, and careers fade. Because once doubt enters your mind, it changes everything. Every touch feels heavier. Every decision feels risky. Every mistake feels bigger. And that's where most players lose themselves. But Bukayo Saka didn't. And that's what makes this story different. Because while the world focused on that one missed penalty, they missed something else. Something far more important. His response. Because in moments like this, you find out who a player really is. Not when everything is going well. Not when the crowd is cheering. But when everything falls apart. When the noise is negative. When the pressure is unbearable. When the easy option is to hide, to disappear, to step away. But he didn't hide. He came back. And that decision changed everything. And when he came back, everyone was watching. Not to support him, not to celebrate him, but to see what would happen next. Because in football, after a moment like that, there are only two paths. You either disappear or you respond. And the first few touches, they matter more than anything because that's where fear shows. That's where doubt appears. That's where players hesitate. But Bukayo Saka didn't hesitate. First touch, clean. Second touch, confident. First run, direct. It was subtle, but it was powerful because there was no fear in his game. No sign of hesitation, no indication that the moment had broken him. And that's when people started noticing something different. He didn't come back as a victim, he came back as a player. And that changes everything. Because once you remove fear, you become dangerous. Game by game, he started rebuilding. Not loudly, not dramatically, but consistently. The same way he built his career in the first place. Smart decisions, quick movements, intelligent positioning, the basics, done perfectly, and slowly, confidence returned. But here's the difference. This wasn't the same confidence as before. This was stronger. Because it wasn't built on success, it was built on survival. And confidence built after failure is unbreakable. Defenders tried to stop him, press him, challenge him, but now he played with a different mindset, more direct, more aggressive, more fearless. Because once you face the worst, everything else feels smaller. And then the performances started speaking. Goals, assists, moments of brilliance, not just in small games, in big games, important games. The kind of matches where pressure decides everything. And in those moments, he delivered. Again, and again, and again. And slowly, the narrative started changing. The same people who criticized him started praising him. The same voices that doubted him started trusting him. Because football respects one thing above all: performance. And Bukayo Saka was performing at the highest level, but this time, it meant more. Because this wasn't just about football anymore. This was about resilience, about mental strength, about proving that one moment does not define you, and that's a powerful message. Because in life, just like in football, everyone has a moment, a mistake, a failure, a setback, something that could define them if they let it. But the real question is, what happens next? Do you stay down or do you come back stronger? Bukayo Saka made his choice, and that choice that changed everything. Because now when he steps onto the pitch, he's not just a player, he's a symbol of courage, of growth, of resilience. Every time he touches the ball, there's a story behind it. Every run, every pass, every goal carries something deeper. Because people remember where he was. They remember that moment. And now they see who he has become. And that contrast, that journey, that transformation is what makes it powerful. Because it's real. It's not perfect. It's not easy, but it's real. And maybe that's why people connect with it. Because everyone understands failure. Everyone understands pressure. Everyone understands what it feels like to be judged, but not everyone understands how to respond. And that's what makes this story different. Because he didn't just recover. He evolved. He became better, stronger, more complete. And that's rare. Because most players try to forget failure, but he used it. Turned it into fuel. Turned it into motivation. Turned it into something that pushed him forward. And that's why he plays the way he does now. Free, fearless, focused. Because he's no longer afraid of making mistakes. He's already faced the worst and survived. And once you survive that, nothing else can stop you. But the story doesn't end here. Because success brings new challenges, new expectations, new pressure. Now the world isn't doubting him. It's expecting him. Expecting greatness, expecting consistency, expecting him to deliver every single time. And that's a different kind of pressure, but here's the difference. He knows how to handle it because he's been through worse, because he's already faced the moment that could have ended everything and came back stronger. So now, there's no fear left, only belief. And belief is everything, because talent without belief is nothing. But talent with belief becomes unstoppable. And Bukayo Saka is proving that every single game. Because the same player who once walked away from that penalty, head down, world against him, is now walking onto the pitch, head up, world behind him. And maybe that's the real victory, not the goals, not the assists, not the trophies, but the transformation from a moment that could have broken him to a journey that made him stronger. Because in the end, it's not about how you fall, it's about how you rise. And Bukayo Saka didn't just rise, he came back stronger than ever. And the world had no choice but to watch.